Taiwan says Chinese flags amphibious drills as abnormal. A Chinese dissident in transit at a Taiwan airport seeking help. Turkey's central bank hikes interest rate to 30%. Abbas tells UN no peace in Mideast without Palestinian state. Researchers say 95% of NFTs now totally worthless. Philippines weighs legal options against China over coral reef destruction. India Parliament passes bill to reserve more lawmaker seats for women. Americans can order free COVID tests again.
Hello, I'm Johnny. Thank you for joining us on Funday News. It's Saturday, September 23rd, and here are your top stories. Taiwan's defense minister said on Friday that recent Chinese military movements around Taiwan were abnormal, flagging amphibious exercises in addition to drills in the province facing the island. The defense ministry said on Thursday that it was keeping watch on Chinese activities near Dacheng Bay in the southern province of Fujian, facing Taiwan. A military researcher at Taiwan's National Policy Foundation think tank said that China carried out landing drills in Dacheng Bay in September last year and the year before that.
我们最近这敌情真的是蛮异常的。在国防部平常除了监控以外，我们世界发布。
Taiwan security sources say Dacheng Bay is an area where China performs landing drills. Those exercises featured civilian ships with equipment practicing dockless unloading to simulate a situation in which they might need to land after port facilities are knocked out of action or destroyed. Earlier on Friday, the ministry said it had detected 24 Chinese military aircraft entering Taiwan's Abbas during the previous 24 hours. A source said, China is seeking to normalize these activities and push Taiwan into a corner.
A Chinese dissident known for regularly commemorating the 1989 crackdown on pro-democracy protesters in Beijing's Tiananmen Square fled to Taiwan on Friday and pleaded for help in seeking asylum in the United States or Canada. In a video he posted on X, Chen Ximing said he was in the transit area at Taoyuan International Airport to escape Chinese political persecution. Chen told the Associated Press that he had left China on July 22nd.
Chen said in his post on X that the Chinese police's stability maintenance methods directed towards me were becoming more and more cruel and crazy. He also said, they detained me at will without following legal procedures, taking my cell phone and even giving me a psychiatric evaluation. I can no longer continue to accept the ravaging of my personal dignity, the trampling of my honor and the threat to my body. Chen said starting in 2017, police had taken him into detention every year, primarily for his annual commemorations of the June 4th crackdown in Beijing's Tiananmen Square.
Turkey's central bank hiked its key interest rate to 30% on Thursday, a 500 basis point jump from 25%, as Ankara continues to battle double-digit inflation. Turkey's annual inflation jumped to near 59% in August. Ankara now expects annual inflation to reach 65% at the end of 2023, up from a forecast of 24.9% a year ago. The Turkish lira weakened slightly to 27.06 against the dollar on the news, with the greenback up 0.3% against the local currency at 2 p.m. in Istanbul.
Turkey just got a little more expensive, at least in theory. Its central bank has raised interest rates to help prop up the lira after its dramatic slide against the US.
In June, Turkey lifted its key interest rate for the first time in more than 2 years. After underwhelming rate increases in June and July, the central bank surprised markets in August with a larger than expected hike of 750 basis points, from 17% to 25%. The Thursday move demonstrates a continuation of that path. Liam Peach, a senior emerging markets economist at London-based Capital Economics, said Capital Economics expects rates to rise to at least 35% by the end of the year.
Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas argued in his speech to the United Nations General Assembly on Thursday that peace in the region would be impossible without a Palestinian state, as Israel-Saudi normalization is showing clear signs of moving ahead. Abbas said, speaking in Arabic, those who think peace can prevail in the Middle East without the Palestinian people enjoying their full legitimate and national rights would be mistaken.
Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman said Wednesday that every day, we get closer to his country normalizing ties with Israel, while clarifying that the Palestinian issue was still a very important component of the process. Last week, Saudi leaders assured a delegation visiting from Ramallah that Riyadh will not abandon the Palestinian cause as it engages in negotiations. Abbas insisted that the Palestinians would continue what he called their peaceful, popular resistance against a colonial occupation that does not believe in peace.
After looking at 73,257 NFT collections based on data from CoinMarketCap and NFT Scan, crypto gambling website DAppGamble said it determined that 69,795 of those collections have a market cap of 0 Ethereum. DAppGamble said in its report this statistic effectively means that 95% of people holding on to NFT collections are currently holding on to worthless investments.
According to DAppGamble's analysis, only 21% of the NFT collections it examined were fully spoken for, which it said ultimately means 4 out of every 5 NFTs remain unsold. The researchers said, it is a stark reminder that, while the NFT space has introduced a revolutionary new model for ownership and the monetization of digital assets, it remains a highly speculative and volatile market. In other words, the bottom on the NFT market has well and truly fallen out.
The Philippines is exploring illegal options against China, accusing it of destruction of coral reefs within its executive economic zone in the South China Sea. The Philippines Foreign Ministry late on Thursday said it was awaiting assessments from various agencies of the extent of environmental damage in Iroquois Reef in the Spratly Islands. Iroquois Reef is close to the Reed Bank, where the Philippines hopes to one day access gas reserves, a plan complicated by China's claim to the area.
Philippines Solicitor General Menardo Guevara said on Friday the country is studying the possibility of filing a second legal case before the Permanent Court of Arbitration in The Hague. It won its first case, filed in 2013, contesting China's claims to the area. Guevara told Reuters the study was prompted not only by the alleged destruction of reefs but also by other incidents and the overall situation. A report and recommendation would be sent to President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. in the Foreign Ministry.
The Indian Parliament approved a bill to reserve a third of lawmaker seats for women, potentially giving a boost to Prime Minister Narendra Modi's ruling party before the elections due next summer. The legislation was approved by the upper house of Parliament on Thursday after being passed by the lower house on Wednesday. The passage of the bill received widespread support across party lines. However, the bill can be enforced only after the country conducts a fresh census and reshapes its political constituencies.
Opposition ministers expressed their disappointment as the process has been frozen until 2026. Mazum Noor, a member of the upper house and the All India Trinamool Congress Party, said the clause was like writing a check with no balance in your account. But Modi said on X on Wednesday the bill is a historic legislation which will boost women empowerment and enable greater participation of women in our political process. The latest effort to reach out to female voters may help him counter opposition parties.
The Biden administration announced Wednesday that it is providing $600 million in funding to produce new at-home COVID-19 tests and is restarting a website allowing Americans to again order up to 4 free tests per household, which aims to prevent possible shortages during a rise in coronavirus cases that has typically come during colder months. The Department of Health and Human Services says orders can be placed at covidtest.gov starting September 25th, and that no-cost tests will be delivered for free by the U.S. Postal Service.
The department said 12 manufacturers that employ hundreds of people in 7 states have been awarded funding and will produce 200 million over-the-counter tests to replenish federal stockpiles for government use, in addition to producing enough tests to meet demand for tests ordered online. Federal officials said that will help guard against supply chain issues that sparked some shortages of at-home COVID tests made overseas during past surges in coronavirus cases.
The answer for yesterday was a tariff. A general tariff was imposed on foreign imports. Did you answer correctly? Now let's delve into the news of researchers saying 95% of NFTs now worthless. Number 1, be spoken for. 已经有人要，留给某人。I'm afraid you can't sit there. Those seats are spoken for. Number 2, speculative. 投机性的，风险性的。It is entirely speculative when compared with property because it yields no income. Number 3, hold on to something. 保住不送不卖某物。You should hold on to your oil shares. Next, we have a multiple choice question for everyone to practice. Which answer would you choose? You can write your answer in the comment section. The correct answer will be announced tomorrow. And that's all for today's Funday News. Be sure to tune into Funday News from Monday to Friday and click the link below to join Funday for free. I'm your host, Johnny Wu. I'll see you next time.